Tonight on Cronkite News, Arizona State Senator Mark Kelly weighs in on the 2028 presidential election, what he says about a potential run for the Oval Office.
Plus, how one new industry in the Valley is impacting the need for skilled workers across Arizona.
And an ASU alumni pitcher earns an opening day start for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Aaliyah Steinley.
And I'm Ron Cunningham. Thank you for joining us.
Democratic Senator Mark Kelly might have a presidential run on the horizon. The Arizona senator told BBC Newsnight that he will consider running in 2028.
I'll seriously consider this because we are in some seriously challenging times right now. So I will obviously think about this. It's a serious decision. I just haven't made it yet.
The remark came up in a conversation about Kelly's current battle with the Trump administration, sparked by a video where he urged military personnel to refuse illegal orders. The video resulted in the downgrading of his military retirement rank. The move by the Secretary of Defense has been blocked by a federal judge.
A bill at the state capitol is aimed at making it harder to shut down shooting ranges without lawmakers' approval. Cronkite News reporter Ashley Arrose found out the bill seemed to be directed at one specific shooting range.
Public shooting ranges like Ben Avery provide firearms training for hunters, competitive shooters, and law enforcement officers. Under current law, the Arizona Game and Fish Commission has the authority to manage and potentially close state-owned shooting facilities.
There's obviously a public hearing, but it doesn't involve the legislature at all, and I think that we should have a voice in it.
State Representative Quan Nguyen says he introduced House Bill 2763 to prevent unilateral closure of state-owned shooting ranges.
You're going to have people shooting all 360 degrees. You're going to have people shooting things that they shouldn't be shooting with or at. And so I think that's a big issue when you decide to shut down a facility like that. You lose control of the safety aspect of the sports.
The bill aims to add safeguards against closing public ranges by requiring legislative approval. The bill directly impacts the Ben Avery shooting facility, one of the largest publicly operated shooting ranges in the U.S.
People go to shooting ranges like this one to shoot pistol and rifle, archery, and clay targets. People who support the bill are saying that if facilities like this were to close, there'd be major impacts to the community.
We're just a mess with the trash, the brass on the ground, the broken glass, the TVs, the washing machines and so on. We just don't need to have that kind of environmental damage done to our desert down here.
Diane Post, a lobbyist for AZ National Organization for Women, disagrees.
I have some property up in northern Arizona, and it is shut up on an annual basis. You know, every year I go up there, somebody's been out there shooting up the stop sign, shooting up the road sign, shooting up my trailer. They're doing it now, so that is nothing new.
In a statement, the Arizona Game and Fish Commission say they have not taken a position on this bill, but is actively working on the long-term preservations of the range. In Phoenix, Ashley Arrose, Cronkite News.
Ben Avery shooting range averages more than 120,000 shooters per year. As of now, the bill has bipartisan support.
Taking a moment to look at another proposed law, this one dealing with all things money, more specifically pennies. Arizona Senate Bill 11A is a proposed bill that would put Swedish rounding into effect. Swedish rounding is a counting method that would require retailers to round totals up or down to the nearest nickel, depending on the transaction total amount. The bill, sponsored by Republican State Senator John Kavanaugh, is intended to set guidelines for retailers on what to do when a tab ends in something other than 5 or 0. It's a response to coin shortages across the state due to the U.S. Secretary of Treasury's decision to stop producing pennies last November.
Arizona's tech industry is heating up with several new semiconductor factories underway. But new jobs in this industry require new talent. Our Cronkite News reporter Izzy Ludlow shows us how workers are gaining new skills needed to build the future.
In this classroom, Eric Douglas isn't just learning about hoses. He's learning how these tools can change the future for him and his family.
And trying to get to where my life is in a better position to take care of them is a big part of it too.
The Rio Salado program is training its students to enter a growing manufacturing industry, making the chips that power things like smartphones, electric vehicles, and AI systems.
Systems and abilities and functions and how all of that works, what the chemistry is, physics are, all of that transfers.
In this lab, students are working with wet chemicals used in the manufacturing process, but just a few steps away,
This is where we'll actually do the photolithography itself, exposure to UV light, which is why the lights are yellow in here.
nationally, the chips industry is struggling to find skilled workers to fill their growing list of job openings, according to a recent study. Arizona is no exception.
They're now having to build whole communities of residential, places for the workers to live.
Take Nolan Cunningham, who stepped away from his full-time job at In-N-Out to join the TSMC apprenticeship program.
I can stay here basically my whole life and retire without having to worry about anything getting impacted within this industry because it will always be around.
Since 2020, TSMC's investment has grown from $12 billion to $165 billion in Arizona, with plans to double their workforce from 3,000 to 6,000 people, attracting students of all backgrounds and ages to make a change.
Trying to look to get out of the it's a job and into it's a career.
They hope will last a lifetime. In Phoenix, Izzy Ledlow, Cronkite News.
In order to fill the current job gap in chips manufacturing, JP Morgan Chase predicts apprenticeship programs need to grow by 44% in the next decade.
It rained across much of the valley this morning, but the rest of the day was beautiful. Ideal hiking conditions for Arizonans at one of our many city, state, and national parks. But the price to enjoy some of these parks has increased. Tyler Mitchell joins us from South Mountain Park for more. Tyler, what's it looking like out there?
Thanks, Aaliyah. It's a beautiful day out, as you can see. I'm out at South Mountain, where public access is always free, but for some of our state parks, it's a little more than it was a year ago. That's when Arizona State Parks raise rates. Now an annual pass costs $200 that covers 4 adults in 1 car. You can still choose a day fee, which ranges from $10 to $30 a person. If you're headed to Maricopa County Park, they raise the annual pass to $120 and the day use fee to $10 per car. If you're headed to any national park, watch out for some fee changes, especially for foreign visitors. But again, our Phoenix City parks are always free, and it's a good time to get out there and start looking at some of those wildflowers. I'm Tyler Mitchell, Cronkite News.
As Tyler mentioned, the wildflowers are blooming around the state. The early bloom is thanks to this season's winter rain. The season usually starts late February and lasts through April. However, the wildflowers are already starting to grow throughout the desert parks and are making for colorful trails for visitors to hike. One park in particular, Picacho Peak, is one of the top parks to visit for the flowers. Park visitors looking to track when the wildflowers will be at peak activity can use Bloomdar, found on the state park's website. Coming up next, the nation is mourning the death of a civil rights icon.
That's right, Reverend Jexy Jackson has passed away. Stay tuned to hear more about his legacy and the tributes pouring in after his death.
Plus, flash floods hit the West Coast this week, and a cold front brought snow to Arizona. So what can we expect here in the valley? Details coming up next on Cronkite News.
People have always had trouble trying to put me into a box. A professor, suit and tie is just not me. Without the ocean, I don't know what I would do. The ocean's always been there for me. As Hawaiian people, we believe that the coral is the first living being to come out of the darkness. It's the foundation of our entire lifestyle, and that's what my research is about. What we do is we take photographs of the reef over long periods of time to create models that can tell us what the planet is doing. If we go deaf to what the Earth is telling us, then we'll never be able to live in harmony. If I can get my students excited about protecting the ocean, then they're the ones who are gonna really make the difference. I hope my students realize that I'm not trying to prepare them for something in the distant future. Their time is now at Arizona State University.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
Jesse Jackson changed the civil rights movement. He was a consequential and transformative figure.
You just heard from Reverend Al Sharpton, civil rights activist and longtime friend of Reverend Jesse Jackson, who died today at 84. He was the successor of MLK Jr., who was assassinated just moments after they met in Memphis, Tennessee. Jackson would go on to lead the civil rights movement for decades. This morning, people set flowers on his doorstep in Chicago. The death of the civil rights icon resulted in a wave of condolences to the Jackson family from across the nation, including some from several presidents. President Trump sent his condolences via Truth Social. Jackson was a two-time presidential candidate himself in 1984 and 1988. He also launched the National Rainbow Coalition in 2017, he revealed he had Parkinson's disease, though his cause of death has not been disclosed.
Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg will capture a lot of critical viewers tomorrow, but it won't be through any of his apps. In Los Angeles, the social media mogul is testifying in a lawsuit from a now 20 years old who claims Instagram is designed to be addictive for young users, and using it as a child harmed her mental health. Just 2 years ago, Zuckerberg stood in front of the Senate and apologized to grieving parents who said social media contributed to their children's death. But now he has to convince a jury.
This week, states along the Pacific coast are facing extreme weather conditions, with forecasts of heavy rain and even potential flooding. Residents in Northern California and the Central Coast are already seeing floods, causing road closures and power outages. In Nevada, heavy snow is causing extreme traffic delay along parts of Interstate 80 at the California-Nevada border. Winter weather alerts have been in effect since Monday for these parts of California, Nevada, and now Oregon. With extreme weather hitting our West Coast neighbors, could Arizona also expect to see some showers?
Ray Tadako joins us now from the Cronkite Weather Center with our forecast.
Thank you, guys. Tonight, we are going to see the temperatures drop down into the 60s, 63 by 10 p.m. tonight. As those temperatures start to move, tomorrow we are going to see Phoenix hit 46 degrees. Then we're going to see some nice 40s on the western part of the state, 48 in Yuma. Up in the northern part, Grand Canyon, it's going to be nice and chilly, 11 degrees in Flagstaff, and then 45 degrees in Tucson. As we move on to our warmer temperatures tomorrow, we are going to see 65 degrees in the valley, and then we are going to see some 60, 68 in Yuma, some colder temperatures as we adjust from the winter to spring, and then we're going to see some 30s in Grand Canyon, 30 degrees in Flagstaff, down in 65 in Tucson. As we see the weather change, we are going to see tomorrow some storms roll in up in the northern part of the state. We're going to see some snow come our way to that Flagstaff Grand Canyon area as it gets colder, and then those storms will disappear throughout the rest of the week. As we move forward into our week, tomorrow we will actually see a 60% chance of rain. Then we're going to see some clouds our way Thursday, Friday, mostly sunny. As our weekend comes, Saturday it's going to be nice and sunny. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday we're going to get into the 70s and hit 80 next Wednesday. You definitely want to go outside, enjoy the weather while you can as we head into the spring season. I'm Ray Tadako from the Cronkite Weather Center.
Coming up next, one local athlete uses art to relieve his stress.
Yes, a Valley Suns player now uses his passion for something new.
Obviously, CJ is a big part of what we do on both ends of the floor.
CJ Huntley has found a way to turn his love for art into something soothing. Coming up on Cronkite News.
Welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Aiden O'Neill, and thank you for joining us. A potential lockout could be in the cards for Major League Baseball. The current collective bargaining agreement between owners and Major League Baseball Players Association expires in December. As players are preparing for Cactus League play, the two sides recognize a core issue in the CBA, competitive balance. The owners are pushing for a salary cap to help with economic disparity. The MLBPA is fully against the proposed salary cap, stating that it doesn't, quote, reward excellence. General managers and managers were asked their thoughts on the potential lockout at Cactus League Media Day.
Remember as a player being on the player side and being in those meetings and those types of conversations. So we know everybody's digging in, but have full confidence that we'll be playing baseball.
Our focus is on how do we try to put together a postseason team this year and win the World Series. And then how do we, hopefully keep playing baseball. That's what we love doing. We love watching guys play baseball, and I'm hopeful that there's a collaborative spirit that will allow that to happen.
On a happier note, a monumental day coming up for Arizona State Baseball's very own alumni, Merrill Kelly. For the first time in his career, Arizona Diamondbacks pitcher Merrill Kelly will take the mound opening day. This announcement follows Kelly's return to Arizona after being traded to the Texas Rangers last summer. Kelly most recently threw the first pitch for ASU Baseball's first game of the season. Now to the Valley Suns, where one player is not only living his basketball dreams, he's also sharing his passion outside of the game. Cronkite News reporter Rome KD shares how this forward turned his hobby into therapy.
Valley Suns big man CJ Huntley has put together a great first impression in his inaugural season in professional basketball. Before the Suns' recent matchup against the Westchester Knicks, Huntley expressed how well he believes he's been performing this season.
It's a little up and down, but overall as a team, I feel like, we're every day in practice trying to get better each and every day. I feel like that's what's going to keep us in games and stuff. Just got to finish out. But I feel like overall, me as a person, I feel my game has been really good this season so far.
Not only has Huntley been a standout basketball player throughout his life, but he's also passionate about art. When his alma mater, Appalachian State, got to tour his childhood home in Huntersville, North Carolina, his drawings of Air Jordan 1 sneakers and the world-famous Bugs Bunny were all over his walls. And the crazy part is, he only picked up the hobby just a few years ago.
During COVID, I feel like that helped me a lot, not being able to go to the gym sometimes, so when I be able to hang out with friends, so I just picked up a new hobby. I feel like that helped me a lot, In high school, I took a drawing and painting class, and I feel like that over time has helped me being a great artist.
With all the high stress and intensity that basketball has to offer, it can be draining during a long professional season. In Huntley's case, he uses drawing as a therapeutic way to recharge his batteries.
I feel like it's a little bit different from basketball, but some of them have same characteristics, but I feel like, basketball, it's a long sport, hard working, stuff like that. So play art and all that stuff helps me mentally relax and stuff.
Valley Suns head coach Paul Jesperson has really appreciated Huntley's work ethic, which is why he's penciled him into the starting lineup consistently throughout this season.
Obviously, CJ is a big part of what we do on both ends of the floor. Like I said, he's grown so much from the start of the year till now, so we'll keep working with him. He loves the work. He's a guy who begs for it, comes in every day, super consistent with it.
Huntley will look to provide more consistency to a Suns team that is looking to turn things around and fight for a playoff spot, as they are currently toward the bottom of the Western Conference. In Tempe, Rome Katie, Cronkite News.
The Valley Suns returned from the All-Star break Friday, looking to win their third game in a row against the Sioux Falls Skyforce. Another Valley resident looks to make it to the big leagues. Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship made its yearly stop in Glendale at State Farm Stadium. Cronkite News reporter Dane Palmer spent some time with an up-and-coming Arizona rider in Glendale.
Finish line jumps, berms, and rhythm sections are just a few of the track challenges Supercross riders faced at State Farm Stadium. Carson Millikan, a local Arizonan, is in his first season of racing Monster Energy Supercross and is excited to have made it to the highest level.
It's my fourth round. This week will be fourth round. I've done the first three, and we're just learning every round. I'm enjoying it, being at this level. Being kind of younger guy compared to everyone. I'm by much, but it's just cool being at a professional level.
Millikan's dad, Brad, works essentially as a one-man team, helping keep Carson and his bike ready to go all weekend long.
He's very light. If you notice, he's the lightest rider here, period. So it's very hard. He's very in tune with his machine. So he'll know and he'll tell me like, hey Dad, you have too much air in the tire. So it's good. He can give back a ton of feedback, that makes, I think, a good rider.
Millikan looks not only to his dad for advice, but also to other veteran riders as a blueprint for success.
It's a good learning experience because they're all mature enough to understand this sport. They've been doing it their whole lives. So I'm just kind of watching them, taking it all in. But it's been good riding with them just so I can learn from them.
One of the most successful vet racers a class above Millikan being Ken Roxon. The 31-year-old has won 4 times here in Arizona and shared what helped him settle in over his career.
I have just noticed that over the years that I function a lot better if I stay calm, and that basically comes from after being a pro for like 15 years or so. I have gone through trial and error firsthand, like many times.
Well, after a day full of race gas, dirt, and his very own trial and error finally winded down for Millikan, he returned to his trailer, welcomed by his family, fans, and his dog, Duke. In Glendale, Dane Palmer, Cronkite News.
Although Millikan did not make the main event, he still logged some valuable seat time and experience at the highest level. Now, we can't end today without talking about a fantastic feat accomplished by one bobsled champion. American Alana Myers-Taylor finally has her Olympic gold at 41 years old. The veteran bobsledder took first in the monobob competition on Monday. Myers-Taylor's first career gold medal adds to 5 previous medals and ties her as the most decorated female American Winter Olympian of all time. She has 3 silver medals and 2 bronze from her 4 previous Olympic Games. Myers-Taylor joins the career list with legendary speed skater Bonnie Blair, who also has 6 Olympic gold medals. That's it for tonight's Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Aiden O'Neill. Thank you for joining us. Now back to Aaliyah and Ron.
Coming up next, a look into today's special holiday, Chinese New Year.
Yep, today kicks off the 15-day celebration. Stay tuned to learn more about the holiday and its traditions, along with this year's rare event in the Chinese zodiac.
Into those early morning lows, we're up north.
Trail runs about a mile long and not only features different textures and terrain.
65 to 63 after Florida's defense stopped it.
Welcome back, and in case you didn't know, today marks Chinese New Year, a celebration billions of people are gearing up to enjoy.
Yeah, Leah, it's widely considered the most important event of the year in China and in Chinese communities around the world. Celebrations vary, but there are a few common traditions like a big dinner with family, cash gifts and red packets for kids, and deep cleaning to get rid of any bad luck from the past year. It's the year of the fire horse, a rare event that only occurs once every 60 years.
That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Aaliyah Steinley.
And I'm Ron Cunningham. Thank you for joining us.
And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.